A lot of people ask me, what's your creative process when making these videos? And to that, I say, that's a good question. The creative process, at least to me, is something that I have a hard time explaining to someone just on the fly. Like if you were to come up and ask me in person, I'd be like, because I feel like it's mostly intuition. I have a process, but it all happens in my mind. It happens subconsciously. It's kind of just a gut instinct. But with all of that said, in this video, I'm going to do my best to lay it out for you guys. The most recent version or adaptation of my creative / video making process, it always starts in the pocket notebook. The pocket notebook sort of represents a catch-all for literally any idea or anything I could think of, anything I just want to write down. So when I want to make a video, the pocket notebook is where I always start. Typically, when I first start ideating for a video, I will simply write out a list of any and all ideas that come to my head. I do this to sort of just start to get the ball rolling. Sometimes this works, and sometimes it doesn't. But when it does work, everything after that sort of works out a little bit easier and quite a bit smoother. And if this doesn't work, I usually just brainstorm and scratch my head until something happens. Either way, once I find the idea that I'm happy with, I commit to it. And as of writing this video, this is the step that I'm at right now. See, now I'm at the point where I've committed to the idea, and now I'm writing it. I'm in the writing, knee deep, writing the story, writing the script, if you will. But I try to keep the script pretty loose. So once I've had my idea, once I've chosen it, once I've committed to it, that's when I just sit down and start writing it out, essentially. Just write it from beginning to end and change things if I need to, and if not, that's basically that. Now, some people have a super disciplined structure in which they write and outline any given creative project. Now, this works tremendously well for a lot of people out there. However, I'm not some people. When I write my videos, I kind of just start at the beginning, and then I end at the end. The reason I started writing my videos in the first place was so that I could make them more focused and more topical. As opposed to what I used to do, which was just kind of turn the camera on, ramble, and hopefully I can fix it in the edit to make it watchable. Spoiler alert, it usually wasn't watchable. Now don't get me wrong, I love and am all for winging it. But when it comes to writing my videos, typically winging it is a no-go. I would say a major conflict in this whole creative process is when I just kind of get stumped. I'll be writing and writing and writing and writing, and then boom! The wall. The wall is this thing that keeps me from being able to write. And the wall takes many forms. Could be my phone, my computer, my brain, or literally anything else. While stuck behind the wall, I have found that it is best to not force your way through the wall, but simply to find something else to do. Like I talked about in last week's video. Step away from it for a little bit. You can't expect to get a whole idea down on paper all at once. But in this particular case, I will do a number of things. I will either work on the title and thumbnail for this video, do something else entirely, or do nothing at all. But this week, I'm working on the title and thumbnail in my time spent behind the wall. When I set out to shoot thumbnails, I have a certain way I like to go about it. First, I won't technically shoot pictures. But what I will do is set up my shot and shoot a video. And I do this for a number of reasons. Number one being that I don't have to mess with a timer, because I can't just do this and be in a thumbnail. Like, that doesn't, obviously it doesn't look right. It's also easier to frame a shot while it's on video, because I can just cut it out, the parts that I'm like looking and framing and stuff. And another thing is, on YouTube, you have a maximum file size limit for your thumbnail. So when I make a thumbnail that's a screenshot from a video, it's really easy to keep it below that file size limit. Because on this camera, at least, when you take an actual picture versus a screen grab from a video, such a large file, it's crazy. So, I'll start shooting, I'll do however many poses and however many different shots I want to do. Then I will import the video into my editing software. And from there, I will basically go frame by frame and screen grab whichever shots I deem the best. And once I have my screenshots, it's time to edit. And from here, I will simply just edit the thumbnails the way I like to edit them. Typically, I try and get anywhere between 1 and 10 different thumbnail options. This time, I got 7. By the time I've chosen my title and made a few different thumbnail prospects, it's finally time to start writing again. The wall we talked about earlier? Well, after shooting and editing my thumbnails and grabbing a bite to eat, I sat back down to write. And wouldn't you know it, now that I'm able to keep writing and make some more progress, it's time to lock in. And this is the point of the process where I won't stop. I will ride this momentum until I either hit another wall or finish my writing. The next thing I will do in my creative, intuitive video making process is shoot. The shooting varies quite a bit from week to week, but most of the time I do it like this. First, I set up my camera on my desk, kind of like this. Next, I will shoot the talking head stuff, which also doubles as voiceover, and I will read through the entirety of what I have written. That's what I'm doing right now. After I've done all this recording, I will throw this large clip into the editor and cut out a lot of the obvious bits. Like stuff like that and, other obvious things. And once I've done that, I will watch back through the entirety of that voiceover / talking head shot. And I will begin writing a shot list. When writing the initial shot list, I will watch / listen through the talking head / voiceover footage. And as I watch through, I will visualize what different types of shots I want to include over the top of the voiceover. Each time I visualize a shot, what I will do first is I will stop the video, write down the timestamp in which I want to start getting that shot, and then I will visualize what I want that shot to actually be. Now that I have the initial shot list written out, I will go through from the first item on the list and begin shooting. Making a video like this is actually pretty tough. Not only do I need to carefully think and write out what usually comes natural and instinctive to me, but then I need to shoot this process. Shooting a video is one thing, but shooting myself, shooting a video, is something else entirely. One way or another though, I'm able to get all the shots I need. This video in particular was more difficult to shoot than most, but hey, we got it. Alright, now it's time for one of my favorite parts of this entire creative, intuitive, video making process, the edit. And the edit, my friends, is where the magic happens. The edit, my friends, is where the story is told. But. Before we get into the edit, I want to tell you guys about the sponsor for today's video. This week's video is brought to you by you.
What?
Let me explain. So, by becoming a channel member, by hitting that little join button next to the subscribe button, you are actively supporting and contributing to the work that I make. By becoming a channel member, you gain access to exclusive badges, emojis, and unlimited bragging rights. And if those are things you might be into, you can become a creative insider for as low as $2.99 per month. And by doing so, you would be helping to fund these videos that you enjoy watching every week. So, with all of that said, thank you guys so much for your support. Now let's get to the edit. So in the edit, what will happen is I will end up in sort of a trance. When I'm in this state, I am 100% focused and fixated. However, it can, and usually does, take a second to get to that point. How do I get into that trance when I'm 100% locked into an edit? To be honest with you, I have no clue. It pretty much just happens somehow, I don't know. This is one of the many parts of this creative process that I quite simply can't explain. So now we're in the edit, and I have imported all the footage that I got from my shot list. Now when I import footage, I have it all organized by date. There's the month folder, and then the day folder. After the footage is organized, it's time to put it in the timeline and begin editing. As I said, the edit, the creative trance, and all the things that go into this step are some of the most intuitive and difficult to explain. As far as I can say, I'm just editing. Now obviously, there's more to it than just editing. But in my brain, that's all there is. That's all it's my brain says edit until I'm done. And then that's it. Now I do try my best to break the edits down and break down the video in my director's commentary streams that I do after each video has been uploaded, but that takes about an hour. And we don't have an hour. So after the edit, after watching the video back bit by bit, hundreds of times, and getting any extra shots I might need, it's time to export. And see, now this is the part of the creative process where it kind of stops being creative and it's more housekeeping. So I'll make sure the title is there. I will add the thumbnail. I will write the description. I will add my ad breaks, cards, and the end screen. And then I'll schedule it. And then, after that's all done, that's it. The video's done. Now once I've reached the end of this process, I take a look back at what I've done. And I realize I've written over 20 pages for this video. Now granted, they're pocket notebook size pages, but they're pages nonetheless. And now, I sit back, take a good, long look at the finished product, and smile. Doing this, making videos, being creative, it's an absolute privilege. Not to mention the fact that I'm getting paid for it now, which is still nuts. I'm grateful to be able to do what I love. I'm grateful that I get to share these things that I make with you guys. And I'm grateful to those who watched until the end. Thank you for being here. I hope you guys got something from this, and if you did, let me know. I'll see you next time.